Let me ask you something. Are you sure she's with you for you, or just for what you give her? Because too many men mistake being used for being loved. They pay for everything. They chase endlessly. They tolerate shallow effort, all while telling themselves it's just part of dating. But the truth is, the cost of ignoring the warning signs isn't just financial. You lose your time, your pride, and your sense of worth. Don't let that be you. Stick with me, because I'm going to expose the top 5 signs she's using you, and I'll show you exactly what to do when you see them. This video could be the start of a turning point for you, the moment you decide you'll never again allow yourself to be used. So before we continue, hit subscribe, tap like, and write a simple commitment in the comments. I refuse to be used. That's your first step toward reclaiming your power. And right after this, we'll begin with the first sign, the one that instantly exposes when you've stopped being her partner and started being her wallet. Number 1, she makes you pay for everything. Let's be honest, if you find yourself constantly reaching for your wallet every time you see her, something is off. I'm not talking about being generous or treating a woman you care about. I'm talking about a pattern where you have become the default provider for every single outing, every single coffee, every single meal, every single ride. If you feel like a walking ATM machine instead of a man in a relationship, you are already in dangerous territory. Here's the brutal truth. When a woman truly respects you and genuinely values being with you, she will never try to drain you financially. In fact, she will often do the opposite. She'll say, "Hey, that's too expensive. Let's do something simpler." Or she'll offer to chip in because she doesn't want you carrying the entire weight. Why? Because love is about partnership, not consumption. Respect is about balance, not exploitation. Now contrast that with a woman who never even offers to pay. She doesn't hesitate to order the most expensive item on the menu, the finest wine, or the highest priced dessert, because she knows you'll foot the bill. That's not just thoughtlessness. That's entitlement. And entitlement is one of the clearest red flags you can ever encounter. Some men ignore this sign because they've been conditioned to believe that being a gentleman means paying for everything without question. They tell themselves it's just how dating works. But what they don't realize is that genuine women who are sincerely interested, are more concerned about how you're doing than what they can get from you. They don't want you to go broke trying to impress them. They don't want you to carry a financial burden that makes you stressed or resentful. The psychology behind this is simple. When a woman insists you pay for everything, she is either testing your boundaries or using you outright. If she is testing, she wants to see whether you are the type of man who stands up for himself or the type who silently accepts being drained. If she is using you, she already knows the answer. You're too smitten, too desperate, or too blind to recognize what's happening. Either way, the result is the same. You are losing money, losing control, and slowly losing your self-respect. So how do you handle this? You run your own test. Next time, suggest she pays for something small. Watch her reaction carefully. If she gladly contributes, if she even insists on sharing the cost, you have a woman who values fairness. But if she becomes irritated, defensive, or even offended, you now know the truth. She never saw you as a partner. She saw you as a sponsor. I've seen men justify this behavior saying, "It's not a big deal. I can afford it." But the issue isn't the money. It's the mindset. The moment you normalize being treated like a bottomless wallet, you set the tone for the entire relationship. And relationships built on one-sided giving always collapse. Not because of a lack of money, but because of the lack of respect that follows. A healthy woman who's genuinely interested in you will protect your resources. She'll encourage moderation. She'll value experiences with you more than price tags. the wrong woman will see you as an opportunity to upgrade her lifestyle without lifting a finger. Here's the line you need to remember. A woman who truly values you will try to protect your money, not drain it. Number 2. She already told you she just wants to be friends. This one is going to sting, but it's better you hear it now than 5 years from now when you've wasted your time, energy, and resources. When a woman looks you in the eye and says, "I just see you as a friend," she has drawn a line in the sand. She's telling you that no matter how much money you spend, no matter how many favors you do, no matter how hard you try, you're not going to cross into her romantic world. That door is locked, and yet too many men still stand outside knocking with their wallets. Why do men do this? Because deep down, they're hoping she'll change her mind. They convince themselves that persistence will win her over, that one day she'll wake up and realize he was the one all along. Hollywood sells this fantasy. Reality destroys it. When a woman places you in the friend category, it's usually permanent. Now, some women are honest. They say, "I don't want anything more than friendship." That statement, in itself, isn't manipulation. The manipulation begins when you refuse to accept her boundary but keep pouring in effort. At that point, you're not a victim of her dishonesty. You're a victim of your own denial. She may accept the gifts, the dinners, the rides, the favors, but only because you keep offering. Why wouldn't she? You've volunteered to be her unpaid assistant. Think about the psychology here. She already told you what she wants, nothing beyond friendship. But instead of listening, you're writing your own script where she'll magically change her mind. You're ignoring her words and chasing your fantasy. And while you chase, she benefits. She gets the attention, the validation, the resources, all without having to invest anything in return. That's not a relationship. That's a one-man show, and you're the only actor on stage. Here's the harsh part. If you continue giving after she's drawn the line, you are training her to use you. She might not have started with that intention, but by refusing to respect her words, you put yourself in a position where she can only take. And the more you give, the less she respects you. So how do you handle this? Believe her. The moment she says she only wants friendship, take her at her word. Stop trying to change her mind. If you can genuinely handle being just friends, then fine. Keep the friendship, but strip away all the extras. No more romantic dinners, no more expensive gifts, no more bending over backward to impress her. If she wants your company, she can meet you halfway. But if your heart is in it, and you know you can't handle being just friends, then walk away. Protect your time, your energy, and your emotional health. It's better to lose one woman than to lose yourself trying to win someone who never wanted you in the first place. Men waste years in this trap, stuck in cycles of wishful thinking when the truth was spoken from the start. Stop bargaining with words that were already clear. She doesn't want you that way, and no amount of persistence, spending, or patience is going to rewrite her decision. Here's the line you need to remember. If she says you're just a friend, believe her. Don't pay for the privilege of being ignored. Number 3. She avoids serious conversations. You can learn a lot about how someone truly feels about you by paying attention to the depth of your conversations. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she will want to know you, not just what you do for her, but who you are. She'll be curious about your past, your values, your ambitions, and your vision for the future. She'll ask questions because she's invested in the possibility of building something real. Now let's flip that around. If every conversation feels shallow, if she never asks about your family, your dreams, or your struggles, that is not an accident. That is a choice. It means she is intentionally keeping things on the surface level because she doesn't want to connect emotionally. She isn't trying to build intimacy. She's simply passing time, enjoying the perks, and leaving you out of her inner world. Think about the last few times you spoke with her. Did she steer the conversation toward herself? Did she keep things light and trivial while dodging anything meaningful? Did she change the subject every time you tried to talk about something real? That's a red flag. A woman who avoids serious conversations isn't just shy or distracted. She's uninterested in creating a bond. And here's the painful truth. If she doesn't let you in, it's because she doesn't want you in. People naturally share details with those they care about. If she opens up about her fears, her family, or her aspirations, it shows she's placing trust in you. If she avoids those conversations altogether, she's telling you without words, "You're not important enough to know me deeply." Some men misinterpret this avoidance. They think she's just private, or that with enough time she'll start opening up. Sometimes that's true, but usually when a woman is interested, she gives signals of openness from the beginning. It doesn't take years for her to ask how your day really went, or to share something vulnerable about herself. If weeks or months pass and all you talk about is food, places to go, or random small talk, you're not moving forward. You're standing still. So what should you do? Test her willingness to engage. Bring up something personal and meaningful. Share a piece of yourself. Maybe a challenge you're facing, or a future goal. Watch how she reacts. If she listens, asks follow-up questions, and reciprocates with her own experiences, that's healthy. But if she dismisses, deflects, or simply shows no interest, you have your answer. She doesn't want depth with you because she doesn't see you as someone worth building with. And here's where many men get stuck. They think that by providing more, spending more, or trying harder, she'll eventually care enough to open up. But emotional connection cannot be bought. It cannot be forced. If she isn't engaging on a deeper level now, she likely never will. Ask yourself this. Do you want to spend your life with someone who only wants your time, your money, or your company for entertainment, while refusing to share anything real about herself? Or do you want a partner who sees you, hears you, and values you enough to connect beyond the surface? The answer should be clear. Don't settle for shallow. Don't let yourself become a distraction in someone else's boredom. Here's the line you need to remember. If all she wants is the free meal, not your mind, you're not dating, you're catering. Number 4, she's only available when it benefits her. Pay close attention to her availability. Does she suddenly become free the moment she wants dinner, a ride, or a night out, but disappear when you ask for her time? If she's only showing up when it serves her needs, then she's not building a relationship with you. She's managing a convenience. And you, unfortunately, are the convenience. This is one of the most obvious, but also one of the most ignored signs. Men see it happening, but they rationalize it. They think, she's just busy, or she has a lot going on. But notice the pattern. She's never too busy when she needs something from you. Somehow, her schedule magically clears up when she's hungry, bored, or looking for someone to sponsor an evening out. Think about it. You call her when you're free. She says no, she's busy, she's tired, she has other plans. But 2 days later, she's the one calling you, suddenly available. And it just so happens she's craving sushi or wants to check out a new club. She doesn't care what your schedule looks like. She doesn't care if you're tired or busy. She cares only that you're available when she decides you should be. That's not affection. That's control. And let's not ignore one of the biggest red flags. She shows up with friends you never invited. Imagine planning a date for 2, only for her to arrive with 3 friends in tow, expecting you to foot the entire bill. That's not a date. That's a setup. A woman who respects you would never put you in that position. But a woman who only sees you as a meal ticket? She won't even think twice. Here's the psychology behind it. People reveal their priorities through their consistency. If she consistently prioritizes you only when it benefits her, she is showing you that your value in her eyes is transactional. You are not a partner. You are an option, a resource, a utility, and as long as you allow it, she will continue treating you that way. So how do you test this? Say no. The next time she asks you out, tell her you can't make it. Watch how she reacts. If she gets upset, vanishes, or stops reaching out altogether, then you weren't important to her. You were just useful. But if she still makes time for you, even when she can't get what she wants, then maybe she values more than just the benefits. Too many men are afraid to say no because they think it will cost them the relationship. But if saying no destroys what you had, then you never had a relationship in the first place. You had a contract where you were the provider and she was the consumer. That's not love. That's a transaction disguised as romance. Ask yourself, do you want to be a man she respects and makes time for? Or do you want to be the placeholder she uses when it's convenient? If you keep allowing yourself to be a backup plan, don't be surprised when she treats you like one. Here's the line you need to remember. If her calendar only opens when she's hungry, you're not her man. You're her meal ticket. Number 5. She invests no emotions in you. One of the clearest ways to measure whether a woman is genuinely interested in you is by looking at her emotional investment. Not her words, not her excuses, her actions. Does she reach out when you don't? Does she remember the details you share, the things that matter to you? Does she celebrate your wins, support you when you're down, and make an effort to connect beyond the surface? If the answer is no, then you need to stop lying to yourself. She isn't emotionally invested in you. Picture this. You disappear for a few days, not because you're playing games, but because you're genuinely busy or want to test the waters. Does she notice? Does she call? Does she check in? If the silence is met with more silence, then she doesn't care. You are not a priority. You are not on her mind. You are simply a convenient option she taps into when she's bored or wants something. Think about birthdays, anniversaries, or even small milestones. With technology today, remembering important dates takes seconds. If she can post selfies and scroll through feeds but can't be bothered to remember your birthday, that's not forgetfulness. That's disinterest. A woman who cares will make the effort, even in small ways, to show you she values you. A woman who doesn't care won't even pretend. Here's the psychology at play. Emotional investment is costly. It requires time, energy, and vulnerability. When someone avoids making that investment, it's because they don't see the relationship as valuable enough to warrant it. They may still accept your company, your money, your attention, but they'll never give back what really matters. Without emotional reciprocity, what you have isn't a relationship. It's an arrangement. And let's be clear, not every woman who is emotionally distant is intentionally using you. Sometimes she's just not interested, but doesn't want to say it outright. That's why you must learn to distinguish between indifference and genuine care. If you find yourself doing all the work, sending all the messages, planning all the meetups, and keeping the connection alive by yourself, you're not in a relationship. You're in a performance. And she's just the audience. So what should you do? Step back and observe. Stop being the one to always initiate. Give space and see what happens. If she reaches out, if she shows she cares, then maybe she was simply reserved at first. But if the silence remains, if the effort is still one-sided, then you have your answer. She's not emotionally invested. And without emotional investment, there is no foundation for anything real. Here's the truth most men avoid. You cannot make someone care. You cannot buy interest, force affection, or earn love through persistence alone. If she's not giving you emotional energy, you're not in her heart. You're just in her spare time. Ask yourself honestly, do you want to build a life with someone who sees you as nothing more than a distraction? Or do you want to be with someone who meets you halfway, who shows you through her words and actions that you matter? Here's the line you need to remember. No emotional investment means no real connection. Don't mistake her boredom for love. Now you've seen the 5 signs. If 1 or 2 show up in your relationship, it's time to pause and pay attention. If 3 or more are present, there's no question about it. You're not in a relationship, you're in an arrangement where you're being drained. And the longer you ignore these truths, the deeper you sink into a role you were never meant to play. Men often tell themselves that things will change, that if they just keep giving, eventually she'll see their value. But relationships don't work that way. Respect isn't earned through endless sacrifice. Love isn't built by ignoring red flags. Every time you excuse her lack of effort, every time you allow yourself to be used, you are giving away your power. And once that power is gone, so is your ability to lead, to set boundaries, and to protect your own worth. It's time to flip the script. Instead of being the man who tolerates crumbs, become the man who demands respect. Instead of being an option that she turns to when it's convenient, become the man who knows his own value and refuses to settle for less. Because the truth is, you teach people how to treat you. If you allow yourself to be used, you will be used. If you set clear standards and walk away from anyone who doesn't meet them, you will attract women who actually want to build with you, not just take from you. So here's my challenge to you. Stop justifying, stop hoping, and stop tolerating. Start paying attention to the patterns, start enforcing your boundaries, and start making choices that protect your time, your money, and your emotions. If this message hit home, share it with another man who needs to hear it. Drop your experience in the comments, because your story might save someone else from making the same mistakes. And if you found value here, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss the truths that can protect your future. Remember this: stop being an option in someone else's game. Start being the man who chooses, not the man who's being used.